Let's learn how to put multiple queries together with a logical connective. We've already seen how you can perform queries based on numeric equality, numeric inequality, string equality, string inequality, regular expressions over strings, and comparisons of whether a field has a particular type and whether a field exists. Sometimes you want a union of these sorts of complicated queries, that is, any document that matches some criteria or some other criteria, and indeed MongoDB offers you an operator to do this. For example, in the people collection, if you wanted to find all of those people whose names ended with an E or who had an age, you can do so using the $or operator. What that looks like is something like this. The $or operator, unlike the rest of the query operators that we've seen so far, is a prefix operator. It comes before the subqueries that it's going to connect together. It takes as a kind of operand an array whose elements are themselves queries that you could give separately, and it computes the set of all those documents that match any of the queries in the array. So for example, what's on the screen shows that the name should match the regular expression ends with E, and the age should exist. So either of those criteria must hold in order for a document to be returned. And so we see the result has the documents where the age is 30 or 35, that's Smith and Jones, and it has those documents whose names end with E, such as Alice, Charlie, and Dave. As you can see, our query documents get somewhat complicated here. There's a bit of closed bracketing messiness on the right-hand side of the screen. Some people find this stuff a little bit difficult to adjust to, but it only takes, in my experience, a few hours or perhaps a couple of days to become familiar with what you need to key in here. Remember that the goal is to close off JSON objects in a syntactically correct manner. The shell, in fact, can help you with this. You may or may not have noticed, but as the cursor moves around, when the cursor is over a grouping symbol, such as a parenthesis, or a brace, or a bracket, the corresponding grouping symbol is highlighted in a kind of dark blue. At the moment, my cursor is over the left parenthesis at the right-hand side of this JavaScript line, and the corresponding open parenthesis on the left-hand side is in blue. As I continue to move backwards, further and further grouping symbols inside the JavaScript expression are being highlighted in blue. This can be somewhat useful to help you checksum whether you've gotten the matching right. As a side detail, if you get the matching wrong, for example, if I take out, say, the square bracket that's supposed to close off the array that goes along with the OR, JavaScript will print out ... This ... means that its input was incomplete. As it happens, there's no way that I can correctly complete this expression because I've left out a grouping symbol that was buried deep inside the document that I was trying to construct. In order to exit from JavaScript's attempt to parse this fragment, I can hit Enter twice, in which case the prompt will return. At that point, I could try to rekey the query or whatever it was that I was not able to complete correctly. So again, to recap, the $or operator takes an array, and the array contains documents. Each document is treated as a separate query, and the $or operator matches any document that matches any of those queries inside the array, and so it in effect computes the union of these queries. If you got all that, let's have a quiz. How would you write a query to find all documents in the scores collection where the score field is less than 50 or greater than 90?